I spent 41 unforgettable days walking the French route of the Camino de Santiago. If you're considering this life-changing journey, you do not want to miss these 10 must-know tips to have an incredible experience. Hi everyone, I'm Melanie with Travel Light, and walking the Camino de Santiago was one of the most rewarding adventures of my life. The Camino is a journey filled with breathtaking landscapes, soul-stirring moments, and connections that will stay with you forever. But here's the thing, you need to be prepared in order to enjoy this journey. So whether you're already planning your walk or simply just dreaming about it, these insights will help make your journey smooth and even more memorable. If you enjoy hiking tips and travel inspiration, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell to turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on any of the cool videos we make. So let's dive in. Tip number 1 is train before you go. I'm sure you've heard this before, but I want you to take it seriously. Training is critical to your Camino. This is a walk that is over 500 miles in length. And if you've never done something like this before, it is challenging for your body. So it's critical to prepare by training as much as possible before you leave for Spain. I recommend training at least 4 months in advance for your Camino. You need to train with the backpack that you're going to be using on the Camino. So get your backpack, make sure it's super comfortable, go to REI and get fitted, make sure you have the right size, and then start putting some weight into it. I usually use canned food or things that are laying around in the kitchen or the pantry and put 10 pounds of weight into my backpack, and then I incrementally increase by 2 pounds until I get up to about 20 pounds, and that is what I am training with leading up to the Camino. I literally bring my backpack everywhere when I'm training for a hike. So I'm walking around the neighborhood, I'm taking it to the gym, I'm on the treadmill and the Stairmaster, all with my backpack. So I recommend that you do the same to get your body ready and used to carrying weight. Another tip that's really important for training is to break in your shoes. So make sure you're wearing the shoes that you'll be wearing on the Camino while you're training either at the gym or around the neighborhood or on local hikes. I met several people along the Camino, especially during the first week, who had to quit early because they didn't train enough. Tip number 2 is pack light. As a rule of thumb, your backpack should not weigh more than 10% of your body weight. Pack as light as possible, and remember that you can buy most things that you may end up needing along the Camino. So let's say you pack one shirt and then at some point you're thinking, I need another shirt. Well, you can buy a shirt along the Camino. Don't pack anything just in case. Pack only things that are essentials. If you want to see what I pack for my Camino journey, I'm going to put a link in the description of this video. Make sure you check that out after you finish these 10 tips. Tip number 3 is invest in the right footwear and avoid blisters. Comfortable, broken-in hiking shoes or trail running shoes are a must. I recommend visiting the folks at REI, tell them what you're getting ready to do, and have them help you pick out a pair of shoes that's perfect for you. Along with having the perfect pair of shoes, I recommend that you bring Darn Tough socks. They're my favorite brand of wool hiking socks, Compeed and Lamb's wool. This combination made sure that I had no blisters along the Camino. Your feet are your best friends on this journey, and you need to take excellent care of them. One pro tip for you is that if you feel a hot spot on your foot, any kind of friction, stop and tend to that immediately. Sometimes we think, oh, I'll get to that when I make my lunch stop, but by then it could already be a blister. So tend to your hot spots right away. Tip number 4, prepare for dorm sleeping. Unless you're getting private rooms, you're going to sleep in a lot of dorm rooms along the Camino, and let me tell you, they can be noisy and they can be bright. Sleep is critical for the recovery of your body after these long days of walking. Make sure you're prepared by having the right eye mask and the right earplugs. Side note, if I mention any products in this video, I'm going to link them in the description below so that you know you're getting the exact items that I recommend. Tip number 5. I think this is my second most important tip after tip number 9, and that is to start your days early. Walking at dawn means cooler weather, fewer crowds, and more time to just reflect and give gratitude while you watch the sunrise. I usually woke up at 6 a.m. and was on the trail by 6:30. One tip for getting out the door quickly is to prepare the night before by filling up your water, packing your backpack, and doing anything else that you need to do to get ready for the next day so that in the morning you can just wake up, brush your teeth, and hit the trail. The quiet mornings were my favorite part of the Camino, and I often found myself crying tears of joy because it was just so beautiful. Even if you're not a morning person, I recommend giving it a try. If you've walked the Camino before, please comment below and add your top tips for pilgrims who are getting ready to walk. I want this video to become a resource for pilgrims to come and get prepared for their Camino. Tip number 6 is take the mountain variants. There are a couple alternate routes that you can take along the Camino that are commonly referred to as the mountain variants. These paths are beautiful and totally worth taking for an off-the-beaten-path adventure. The first one that I took was shortly after the famous wine fountain, and it passed through a small village called Luquin, L-U-Q-U-I-N, and it was some of the most beautiful scenery that I saw on the entire Camino. It was one of my favorite sections, and there was hardly anybody out there. The next one that I recommend taking was after a village called Villafranca del Bierzo. This variant had a good amount of incline, but if you're not afraid of going up hills, it was so beautiful. There was hardly anyone out there. My friend and I stopped at an albergue called Albergue Lamas that had some of the most delicious food along the whole Camino. They picked fresh veggies from their garden and had eggs from their chickens and just made us the most delicious fresh meal. We even found some wild raspberries and cherries that we got to enjoy during the walk. Tip number 7, pace yourself. The Camino is a marathon, not a sprint. Listen to your body, take breaks, and don't feel pressured to keep up with anyone else's speed. This is especially important in the very beginning, in the first week, when you feel a little bit of pressure to keep up with everyone else who started on the same day as you. Tip number 8 is be flexible. Plans can change for many reasons, whether it's the weather, whether you're just tired and you need a break, or whether you meet some amazing people and you want to alter your plans to stay together. Embrace the unexpected. It's just part of the journey. You don't need to plan all of your accommodation in advance, and I suggest you don't because it really takes away your flexibility. I'll be making a whole video soon about exactly how I recommend planning your Camino to maintain the most flexibility in your journey. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel and you have notifications turned on so you get notified when this video drops. Tip number 9, and what I believe is the most important tip for the Camino de Santiago, is to check in with yourself regularly and set boundaries if you need to. It's too easy when there's so many people around to get caught up in what everyone else is doing and lose sight of why you came out there in the first place. The Camino Frances is a social experience. You're gonna meet so many people out there. Some of them you'll stay with for several days or even weeks. Make sure that you're checking in with yourself and honoring your reason for being on the Camino, and set boundaries if you need to. Start making different decisions if that's what's important to you. On the first week of my Camino Frances, I found myself in this pack of people who would leave together every morning and stay together and walk together most of the day. I checked in with myself after a few days and realized that this is not what I wanted. I wanted more alone time. So what I did is I started getting up really early and getting out the door before anybody else so that I knew I would have my precious solitude. Tip number 10 is to utilize apps to help you along the Camino. My favorite app that I used is called Far Out Maps. I've used this on several walks that I have done around the world, and their maps are just top notch. You can purchase an entire map of the Camino Frances and download it offline so that you know it's always going to work even if you don't have cell service. Yes, there are lots of arrows. Yes, in general, the trail is easy to follow. But as a woman walking the Camino alone, it gave me some extra security knowing that I always had a map if I needed it. Another useful app is called Buen Camino, and I especially enjoyed their feature called Plan Your Daily Stages. Camino Ninja and Wise Pilgrim are also popular apps. However, I did not use them on my Camino. I recommend playing around with the apps a little bit to get used to them before you start. Walking the Camino Frances is a journey you will never forget. I hope that these tips help you feel prepared and excited for your adventure. If you found this video helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more great travel tips. Buen Camino.